concept of we are thrown into this world alone. And based on this, we have to find and look into our own meaning. That's the meaning of that one. We are thrown into this world. Therefore, if we are thrown into this world, we are going to find.
Stop.
Hello, yes.
We cannot see your laptop.
You cannot see?
No.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So, all right, I will share again. You can see now?
No.
Now. Yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. The basic idea that we are thrown into this world. Therefore, if we are thrown into this world, then we need to find our relevance. We need to find our meaning alone. That is the meaning of existentialism and phenomenology. All right. Moving forward, now, what do we have here? Now, in the context of existentialists and phenomenologists, we must make sense of the encounter of the chaos that we encounter. You know, if you're going to be exposed into this world, everything is chaos. Everything is misunderstanding. Everything seems to be have no meaning at all, having no meaning at all. You know, sometimes it's very difficult to look at the meaning of everything. Every single individual, including students, are confused sometimes, particularly right now. Students are confused. Students do not know what to do. The purpose of this philosophy is to inculcate within you the reality that you need to find your own reason why you are here. You must need to look into the chaos. You have to find the meaning of the chaos that you are in. You give meaning to the sense of chaos that you are in. That is only the meaning of this one. All right? Now, accordingly, on the context of existentialism and phenomenologies, it says existence precedes essence. So the importance of what you are, the importance of who you are is also looked into here. People must create themselves and create their own meaning. No other person will actually look for meaning in behalf of you. In short, it will be you. In short, it will be you. People must create themselves and create their own meaning. I myself cannot actually dictate on you on what you should be and what you ought to be. So, in short, an individual must engage in self discovery. Why am I here? What am I doing here? You see, if you are in the classroom, you may question that. Why is it that you are in that classroom? Why is it that you are doing this? Why is it that you are doing that? When you are troubled, you ought to ask that. You tend to ask that. And eventually, in the end, you will be able to find your own meaning. No, this can be done through the choices that you make in your life. This is especially right now in a very constant, in a very there is always changes that is actually going on. An individual can make a difference. An individual can similarly make choices in the absurdity of the world. So you have to make meaning in the absurdity of what's going on around us. That's what we do. That's what we have. That's what we need to do in this case. All right. Now let's start with existentialists. Okay. Education in the context of existentialists should focus on the needs of an individual needs. This will include the non-rational as well as the rational. We are going to look into the context of the possibility, what you can be, what you can become. For instance, right now, you see, a lot of you can become somebody. A lot of you can do good, can do better. As I keep on inculcating on the minds of my students before, no person is born to be stupid. Every single person Every single individual is intelligent. That is in the realm of possibility. See, you need to recognize that fact so that you will act accordingly based on that fact or based on that possibility. So as teachers, we have to provide this option so that students, our students, can make choices. Okay? Now, teachers should understand also their own lived word. Before we can share something, we should know what's actually going on around us. We should know what's going on inside our brain. We should know also our own problems. We are not gods. When we go to the classroom, we are not somebody. We are also individual trying to exist. We are also individual trying to survive. In short, we have no difference. In the context of existentialism, every single individual is the same. The only thing that makes individuals different would always be on the choices that they are making. You see, inside the classroom, we are the same. We are looking forward into achievement of something that is good in the notion of possibility. We have to make choices. So we have to interpret all the things that are actually going on around us. And eventually, once that we know this, once that we recognize this, we'll be able to help students to understand the world. This is the basic idea. You make them understand what's going on around them. It's not just actually trying to teach students what will come out in the examination. You have to help them understand what's going on around them so that they can actually use that context to live, to make choices, to make meaning, to make reason on what's going on in their existence. That's how and that's what we should do as teachers, right? Now, the notion of wide awake must always be emphasized here. We are always in constant learning of what's going on. Just like what's happening right now, everything seems to be very chaos, no? Very chaotic, being disorderly because we do not know what's going on in the world. The word of pandemic made that thing possible, you see? Made the word chaos because of pandemic, because we are not doing anything that we are not doing things that we were doing before. Now, what are we going to do? In the context of pandemic, we have to find the reason why this pandemic came. We have to find meaning why this pandemic came. We have to be awake of what's going on. If we are going to do that, then you can actually influence students to make right choices. The role of teacher in this case is intensely personal. We have to be very personal, no? We have to influence every single individual in our class. We have to help them decide. We have to help them find meaning. Okay? Not that we are going to be transactional only. I do not want transactional teaching. Now, in the context of existentialism, teaching will be more personal. You have to bring your individual student to understand the world around them, to understand the meaning of their existence, to explain every possible notion of possibility. You see, what could actually be coming out? How do you understand that? How do you interpret that? What are you expecting in the future? You should be wide awake of all the possibilities that may come. Now, these possibilities will actually be good or bad. What are you going to do when everything gets worse? What are you going to do, of course, when everything gets better? It gets better, it's okay. You will enjoy. But what about when everything gets worse? Just like what happened this year, 6 months ago, pandemic, no? What happened? What's going on right now? If you're going to look at what's going on, we learn to adapt slowly. We learn to adapt little by little. We try to find meaning. We try to make sense of what's going on around us, of the chaos around us, the chaos that pandemic brought us. You see, other people give up. If you're going to look at the situation right now, it looks like the situation seems to be very desperate. People are losing jobs, resulting into depression. They could not have supported their children in school. People are losing hope. You cannot go and do everything that you used to do. You cannot even go and stay for a long time in the mall. You cannot celebrate with friends. Now, what's going on? If you are going to find meaning on this, that you can actually learn something. That is the idea behind the philosophy of existentialism, trying to find meaning in this chaotic world of what's going on around us. Now, there are people who are actually, okay, now you see, you have to teach them the reality of what's going on also. Now, in the context of existentialism, when you're going to see what's going on in the hospital, you will appreciate life. Nurses will be exposed to death, definitely, because you are going to be encountering death once in a while in the hospital. People will die under your care. Because hospitals, when you're in a hospital, the patients who enter there would either get out dead or alive. So that means to say, you will actually appreciate life better. Why? Because you encounter death in the hospital. So you can always decide to understand what's going on. You can always interpret that death in the hospital may actually be giving you lesson. So that's the reason why we keep on always telling lesson learned. That is the idea of existentialists. When you say lesson learned, that means that you already found meaning on otherwise desperate situation, on otherwise negative experiences that you could have experienced. Now, as a teacher, it's our duty to guide our students to look into the notion of this possibility, to find meaning whatever happens from negative or positive experience, because your relationship with your student will must be very personal. Okay? All right, moving forward, the idea on the philosophy of neo-Marxism. Marxism is actually nice, the concept, no? This is actually a radical critique of capitalism because what's going on around us is purely capitalism. You see, everything actually, every person, every individual, every single individual talks about money, talks about business, talks about how you are going to make capital, you make profit, you make gain, right? Now, in New Marxism, it's actually different because it actually imposes something like equality among people. No? Now, in Neo Marxism, the role of education should be to give students the insight to demystify capitalism and become agents of radical change. You see. Now, tell me honestly, what is the reason? Why is it that you would like to become a nurse? Anybody? I ask that over and over again. Why is it that you would like to become a nurse? Some students will answer, if I will become a nurse, I can easily find job. You can easily find job. Therefore, if you have job, you can have money. If you can have money, you may have a good life. You may have some money to invest in business. Everybody is talking about money. Everything is talking about business. Everybody is talking about the survival of the business that they put up. Okay? People who work with business are meaningless. What is more meaningful, according to them, are only money, investment, capital. They don't look into the importance of human beings who are working among them. Now, in New Marxism, this is actually this is the contradiction. It goes to the contrary. Now, Marx believed, Karl Marx, no, the history of civilization was defined by class struggle. No? As always, class struggle. By all means, there are people who are poor and there are people who are rich who are abusing the poor. That is the meaning, or that's the main idea of Marxism and communism. So therefore, in order to survive, we must always defeat the rich. There must always be equality on everything. That is the major concept here. No. Now, there is based on that, there will be always a general conflict theory. The teacher is a transformative intellectual. In short, the teacher can only suggest. The teacher can only can help the student decide on what they are supposed to do because they are transformative intellectuals. They let or they can make students think. They can make students decide for themselves. Okay? So that is the role of neo-Marxism. All right? That we end our philosophy of education. I intend to start another topic today. Would you like that? Any questions so far? No question? All right. I think we need to start with a new lesson, the learning style. This is also very important, no? The theories of learning. Now, I also give you the direction of how we are going to look into our curriculum, the nursing education. We have to look into an individual, the particular the teacher, the basis of their own philosophy, because a teacher must always come out with a belief system. They should actually believe on what they are going to do. They should adopt specific philosophy that will help them decide to teach and influence students. After all, the basic idea, the basic purpose why is it that we are teaching is because we really would like people to understand what's going on. And if they're going to do so, they have something to use in their lives. That is the meaning of this, okay? So let's move forward on learning style. So from,
Yeah.
yes,
We cannot see your lecture.
again, I shared already.
Yes.
Uh, okay, you can see now?
No.
No.
No?
Yes.
You can see now, very good. Okay, so we look into the individual context of teachers, how they would adopt a specific philosophy to influence students. Now, moving forward, let's look at the students also. So we finish one side, the philosophy of education. Now we will proceed on how the students learn. Okay, we call this learning style. No two individual will be the same. Definitely, students will be different. The way they learn, isn't it? So these are the broad goals of our course. No, we need to define the relevant theories of learning. We have to look into the theories of learning. Then we have to examine learning theories that are currently important. All right. So let's proceed with how we define learn. Now, based from your experience, how do you define learning? What learning is to you? Anybody? Is learning an acquisition of knowledge? Is learning acquisition of skills? What? Anybody would like to answer? When you say learning, what comes into your mind?
Studying.
Oh, studying. All right, very good. For what? Huh?
Teaching.
Okay. What else?
Hard work.
Hard work. Okay. What else?
Learning is to know something new.
To know something new. Very good, no? You're sharing at least. Huh?
Share experience.
Experience. Very good. You see, why is it that you are learning and what learning is? If we're going to look at the real definition of learning way back in our psychology class, we always relate into permanent change of behavior. That's how we need to define, how we should define learning, no? A permanent change of behavior. You get the point? You have something to change. I'm going to give you an example. When you enrolled nursing way back 2 years ago, first year, first day in school, do you know anything about learning? Do you know anything about teaching? About nursing? Do you know how to take temperature? Do you know how to take blood pressure?
Yes.
Okay, what else? You see, chances are most of the time we never know or we will not know because we are still trying to attempt to become what we are and what we ought to be. First year, we have no idea. We know that nursing is like that, but we have no idea what to do. What are we doing? See, they taught us the skill to become a nurse, taking blood pressure, taking vital sign, observing the patient. So what do? You acquire all the principles, you acquire all the skills. So what has changed? What happened to you? There is a transformation, isn't it? All of a sudden, you know something. Before you do not know anything, then all of a sudden you know something. So definitely there is a permanent change of behavior. The behavior will always be there with you all throughout, no matter what. Trust me, even though you drop nursing now and you go to another course, another profession, you are going to utilize the skills that you learn in nursing all the while, all the time. You know how to take temperature, you know at least how to take vital sign. Why? Because something happened to you. What happened to you? Your behavior changed. What brought your behavioral change? Learning. So eventually, your behavior is changed because you learned something. That is the definition of learning. Okay? We try to contextualize that based on various educators who define learning. Now, according to Discol in 1994, learning is a persisting change in human performance or performance potential brought about as a result of the learner's interaction with the environment. No? So he's saying about the change that is behavioral change. No? Another one, Mayer in 1982 said that learning is relatively permanent change in a person's knowledge or behavior due to experience. You see? You acquire something that is permanent and no one can take that away from you. Your parents, your brothers or sisters, they will not take that away from you. It will only be you who can actually change. That's the reason why when you learn something, there is already a permanent change of your concept, of your behavior on the particular aspect. No? Learning also, according to Schuell in 1986, is an enduring change in behavior, looking on behavior per se, or in the capacity to behave in a given fashion. This would result from practice or experiences that we actually give to our students. So it only tells one thing. Learning indicates change. Learning indicates permanent change. Learning indicates enduring change. Lifelong, long-lasting. That's the reason why when you become a nurse for the first time, you will be staying as a nurse forever. No one will take that away from you. Once a nurse, will always be a nurse. Once a teacher, will always be a teacher. Because all the knowledge and skills that you acquired from the nursing college will become rather permanent. it will be permanent on your part. It will be permanent on your performance. It will be permanent in your behavior. It will become who you are and what you are. Definitely, there was a change with your behavior. That is actually how we define learning. You attempt to change something. It's not only memorizing for the sake of examination tomorrow. It's not. It's not only getting A plus in the mark. It's not only sitting down for your examination. Who cares if you're going to fail one time, second time, third time? It doesn't matter as long as based on your performance there is change. That's how important learning is. That's how we will define learning. A permanent or an enduring change of behavior. There is something that transformed within us. There is something that happened in us. That's how we define learning. Okay? You follow?
Yes.
All right. Looking forward into learning theories, these are the some of the learning theories that we will encounter in the future. Behaviorism. You're familiar with this because we tackled this. Behaviorism was established by John Watson. Cognitism, social learning theory, social constructivism, multiple intelligences, and brain-based learning. Right? So here we learn differently in different ways. An individual human being learns differently in different ways. So we will adopt specific or different principles to explain how an individual will learn based on the concept I mentioned to you. All right? Okay. I'm not so sure also with what I'm doing right now, you're learning. Because nobody tells me or nobody can tell us what or how you can learn or how you can best learn, except you as an individual. All right? So these are some of the major theories that we have to look forward to. So we start with behaviorism. So what is the meaning of behaviorism? Now we always associate behaviorism to learning, because when we are going to modify this, when we are going to change our behavior, there must be something that causes it. And what's that? Learning. What made the changes of behavior permanent? We learned something. That's the reason why we define learning as a permanent or enduring change of behavior. So let's try to look at the application of behaviorism in learning, particularly in the context of studies learning in the College of Nursing. Moving forward, no? In terms of behaviorism, what do we do in the context of learning? This is one of the theories of learning that we need to understand, that we need to read, that we need to, let's say, we need to master. Behaviorism is confined to observable and measurable behavior. As I told you, we cannot see what's going on inside the brain of an individual. In psychology, I told you that. How do we know if mentally, intellectually, skill in terms of skill, an individual already learned something from us? Like for instance, when you were demonstrating the different skills that you learned from foundation of nursing, what do we observe? We do not observe your brain. We observe your actions in order to interpret what you have in your brain. See, we are only confined in interpreting, observing, measuring, and interpreting the behavior that you display, how you act, how you do, how you conduct a specific process or specific procedure. Now, behaviorism was rather expounded by Ivan Petrovich Pavlov. He called his theory as classical conditioning. Okay? And of course, there is another person who is associated with behaviorism. This time it will be operant conditioning. In Pavlov, we're going to encounter stimulus and response system. In Skinner, we're going to look into reward and punishment system. You see? Reward and punishment. While in classical conditioning, we're going to look into skill and we're going to look into stimulus and response system. All right. This is how we look at it in terms of the experiment of Pavlov. So you learned this already when we discussed behaviorism in first year. This is one of the discourses that we have, no? Behaviorism. There is also another very important psychologist in behaviorism. It was Edward Titchener. Now, let's try to explain in the context of classical conditioning by Ivan Petrovich Pavlov. You know, Pavlov experimented on dog. In order to observe human behavior, you could actually have observed first animals. So in that case, he chose animals. He chose dog in order to conduct his study. Now, what did he do? Stimulus is actually presented in order to get a response. No, the stimulus response system. Anyway, I think I will discuss this later on with you. We are advanced. I will just check the attendance now, and we're good to go. Okay. This afternoon it will be SDL, as you know. You have any question, class?
No.
All right. Let's see. I will check the attendance now. All right. So today is 15. Nof, you're there? Nof Ali, 17. Muhammad? Nastaho?
Yes, doctor, I'm here.
Nastaho? Amina?
Yes. Doctor, they are writing the chat.
Anas? Mara? Aisha?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Number 7, huh? You're there. Maria Muhammad?
Yes, doctor.
Ibrahim?
Yes, doctor.
Bashir? Fatma? Nura Adel?
Yes.
Aisha Said? Rauya Ahmed?
Yes.
Nof Said? Fatma Ibrahim?
Yes.
Khadija Muhammad?
Yes.
Aisha Ahmed?
Yes.
Abdul Rahim? Ahlam Rashid?
Yes. Yes, doctor.
Good. Umayma? Ahlam Abdullah?
Yes.
Hajar Muhammad?
Yes.
Congratulations, Hajar. You made it now. Lamia? Lamia?
Doctor,
Yes.
they're typing in the chat.
No. I would like to check attendance. No. Lamia,
Yes.
I would like to hear your voice better. No. Nura Ali,
Yes.
Amna Ali, Nura Muhammad, Nuf Ubaid, Unud Kamis. I need your voice. Unud. Nuf,
Yes.
Khalid,
Yes.
Aisha Salem,
Yes.
Safia Abdullah,
Yes.
Maryam Abdullah, Shama.
Yes.
Yeah. Hajar, Kurat,
Yes.
Khatijah Rashid,
Yes.
Sheikh Abdullah,
Yes.
Mutaz,
Yes.
Maita, Asma, Maryam,
Yes.
Abdul Razak,
Yes.
Asra,
Would enforce that.
Ahmad,
Yes.
Kulud,
Yes.
Amal, Abir, Kalpan, Walid,
Yes.
good, Sian.
Yes.
Okay, what I would like you to do,
Doctor.
yes, what?
I am number
Mara?
5.
Number 5, Mara.
Yes.
Okay, who else?
Nastaho 02.
Doctor 40.
Nastaho, 2. Number
40.
40,
Also
Ulud.
me, no. 17.
1,
Doctor,
7.
can you say who's absent?
No, you should listen.
No.
Doctor, they
Next
have it
time
in the
again.
chat because they have a problem in the mic.
Yeah, next
Someone
time you
has
have
a
to,
problem with the
because
microphone. See the chat.
Sir,
that's
Doctor 11.
11. That's why we encourage you to make
15.
sure that your mic. Oh, you have microphone, no? 11,
Yeah,
Bashir.
46. 46.
Doctor number 10.
46, Mariam. Number 10, Patma.
Yes, I'm here.
Doctor number 8.
Number 8, Mariam.
Doctor number 15.
Number 15.
24.
24, Umayma.
Yes.
Okay.
Doctor number 7.
Number 7, Aisha, yes.
Me, number 18.
Number 18. Number 18. Noof, no? It's
Yes.
one, yeah. Your first digit different. 18. Okay. Because there is no number 18 on regular numbers.
Doctor number 15.
No, yes, you are there. Anyway, I would like you to open the link and then read the assignment. Make it sure that you will do it. You will do that on time. December 10 is the deadline. Okay. You know how I am marking. Please try to do as much as you can. Read something and try to write as much as you can. Okay. Any questions so far?
Can we submit it before that?
Yes, you can submit even tomorrow.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
you cannot submit on 11th. You can only submit starting tomorrow up to December 10. Okay?
Okay.
All right. The class is dismissed. We call it a day. Thank you so much.